So it was announced, excuse my voice. It was announced recently that we might actually be getting a Tron 3. And I've never seen Tron Legacy or Tron Uprising, and I'm currently watching through that show, and I will be watching Tron Legacy pretty soon here, going to review it. But I have seen Tron before, and I thought this would be the perfect time to sit down, watch those things, and actually record some reviews for those things. Because a lot of people have told me over the years, Tron Legacy is actually really good and you should probably watch it. So, and I love animated series, so especially the ones with action involved in them, because we don't have a lot of those types of shows anymore. So, you know what? I'll check out the rest of the Tron series and we'll do it. But we got to start with Tron. Oh boy. Some of you are not going to like what I have to say about Tron. And some of you are going to... Some of you are going to be okay with it. Here's the thing. Let's go into Disney Plus here. Tron is good. Effects-wise. It is... See, I'm not one of those people who are like, the effects are dated. Here, let me... I actually don't know the exact year Tron came out. That's why I'm going into my Disney Plus here. I probably should not be doing this on, while I'm recording the video. But I do not care, so... but let's go into Tron. I believe it's 1984, but I want to double check. I don't want to be wrong, because I can't look bad on my channel, even though I always do. 1982. Okay, I knew it was the 80s, I just wasn't sure. But Tron came out. So what is Tron? So Tron is... How do you explain the plot of this movie? The plot of this movie... It's not bad. It's just like, I don't even know how to... This is why I've always wanted to review Tron, but I've never been sure how to do it, because it's a very complicated movie to explain. It is a very complicated movie to explain why it does and doesn't work, because it does not work. But basically the point of this movie was they wanted to do what Star Wars did. And they wanted to be this big sci-fi action hit like Star Wars. So Tron was like their attempt to do that. And it came out and it flopped. So kind of the idea is that it takes place in this video game world. And there's like this guy, Tron, who's like kind of... I don't even know how to explain it. I do not know how to explain the plot of this movie. I'm not even going to try, honestly. I'm just going to do my best to explain what doesn't work about this movie. I think what doesn't work about this movie is, so I should say, I do like this movie. I do enjoy it. But in like the sense I enjoy movies like Kroll and The Dark Crystal. These I think are better than Tron, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I enjoy these movies because they're not great movies, and they're not even movies I would say that are good in some areas. But when you watch them, they have amazing visual effects, and they're super fascinating movies effects-wise, and they're super fun to watch. Dark Crystal less so, but Dark Crystal is like a beautiful movie. It is amazing what they were able to do with effects, and yeah, it's a technical marvel. Tron is the same. This movie, well, some people say it looks dated. I don't think it does. Like, of course it looks dated by today's standards, but back then, this was amazing. And I'm still amazed when I watch it because this looks really good. These are the only time I feel like it doesn't work is when you see the light cycles. The light cycles are CG, and it was very early CG. This is 1982, so it wasn't very good. But it wasn't bad either. It's not horrible. Like, there's actually movies that I think have worse CG than this movie does. And this movie came out in 1982. Just saying. But, like, here's my problem with Tron. My problem is, it feels like the people who made this movie said, yeah, we want our Star Wars. But they didn't understand why Star Wars worked. Star Wars wasn't popular because of its effects. It wasn't popular because of its, it's like, world. I mean, the world had part to do with it, but it was more so that you had these fun characters like Han Solo and things like that play off each other really well and are able to make the interesting sci-fi world seem more realistic and grounded, and you have fun within that world and you like those characters. It's a fun movie, right? Star Wars is not a great movie. It's a good movie and it's fun to watch, but like there's nothing great about that original Star Wars movie. But when you go back to it, it's still a fun time. Everybody loves it. This, on the other hand, is like, no. And while, like, this movie obviously has more subtext, which I kind of like. There's, like, some religious allegories within the film. Like, there's one point where one of the characters asks him, one of the other characters, do you believe in the users? And he goes, if I don't, then who made me? And that's kind of like a metaphor for, of course, God and things like that. And, like, that stuff is really interesting and really fun and kind of a cool idea to explore within this film, but they don't touch it. They don't do anything with that throughout the film. It's like an interesting thing that they say, hey, we have this idea, let's kind of drop it in here, and then they really don't do anything with that throughout the rest of the film. And so, like, this movie doesn't make sense on a surface level. This is a movie where you have to look into it deeper. And as someone who enjoys movies like that, I like that. But what you realize is when you start looking deeper into this movie, there is nothing deeper. There's nothing. So there's nothing on a surface level. There's nothing on a deeper level. So what is the point of Tron? What is Tron? There's no characters. The plot is kind of really complicated and like not in a horrible way to where you can't understand what's happening. Like you kind of understand anyways. You kind of get the gist of what's happening basically. But it's like, I mean, this movie looks cool and the effects. That's all people talk about. And that's cool. Like, I like the world and the effects. I like this cool sci-fi world and concept. But I need more than that. I need actual substance. And this movie has no substance. And it's not a terrible movie by any means. But it's also not a great movie by any means. It's just kind of, we made this film trying to copy Star Wars. We didn't understand what Star Wars is, or what the point of Star Wars is. Star Wars wasn't popular because of the effects. Maybe back then it was popular because of the effects. I don't know. I wasn't alive in 1977. But I think the reason it's had such longevity as a franchise is it keeps having characters that you want to see come back in new adventures. Whether that be in games, Lego shorts and TV shows, or animated series, or comics, or books, and things like that. I like Luke Skywalker. I want to see what happens to Luke Skywalker. I want to see what happens to Han Solo. I want to see what happens to Mando in Mandalorian Season 2 when that comes out. I want to see these characters, and I enjoy going back to that world. But after watching this movie, I'm like, do I want to go back? And do I want to go watch Tron Legacy? Because what's here? Not much. And like I've seen this movie a few times. It's pretty rewatchable. It's a pretty easy watch. I think this is one of those movies where it will connect with some people and won't. And that's like cool. You can like this movie, and if it connects with you and you have fun with it, I get it, because this is kind of a cool, interesting world and a cool idea. But I feel like there's not enough done with it to make it really interesting or good. And like, again, not horrible movie, but not that same level that it should be. And that's my problem with it. And so yeah. So it's kind of one of those movies. It's like a C, right? It's like a C. It's problematic, but you could still watch it and have fun. And there are going to be some people who will be like, no, I don't enjoy watching Tron. And I get that too, because Tron can be really boring, because this is the type of movie where there isn't anything happening on a surface level. So there's going to be the people who really love watching it and don't care about that. And then there's going to be people who are going to be like so confused and just bored and tune out from it. And I could totally see that.